This is why so many cosplayers end up disappearing from the community, and it's also the reason why I've almost quit cosplaying several times. Have you ever looked at your sewing machine or makeup kits or EVA foam and just didn't want to touch it? If so, then you're not alone. Burnout is one of the biggest reasons why talented cosplayers quietly disappear from the community every single day. Now, burnout is one of those words that I think is oftentimes overused and also just misused. But what is burnout and how do you identify it? Well, if you feel like you're constantly being left behind or losing motivation to work on any costumes, or if you're constantly comparing yourself to other creators, or maybe you're even feeling guilty for taking breaks, or just in general dreading going to conventions or creating content, then chances are you're probably experiencing burnout right now. But why does burnout happen? For us content creators, a lot of the times burnout happens because you're constantly trying to keep up with social media algorithms or all these new fads and trends that are going on. Or maybe you're taking on way too many projects at one time, spending every free moment making content instead of relaxing, or financial pressure, which I think is definitely a big one for a lot of us right now. Or maybe you're even trying to turn your cosplay hobby into a full-time career. A lot of the times these aspects will end up leading to burnout itself. Luckily for you guys, burnout is never permanent, and there are ways to prevent burnout and even help you get out of this rut you might find yourself in. So here are 7 little tricks to not only help prevent burnout, but to also help you get out of burnout. Number 1, take intentional breaks. Even if you feel like you could keep creating content, I would argue there should be designated weeks within the month where you just don't touch your cosplay content. For me, I always batch create my content, and even though I usually will make content on a weekly basis, some weeks I'll go without creating content for maybe Instagram or TikTok. And this is due to maybe I just have so much content from the last week to post that I really don't need to get into cosplay. And even if I feel like I could get into cosplay, I will intentionally choose not to. I will make myself sit down and take a break, and I find that this helps a lot. Number 2, choose a project that you're actually passionate about. Okay guys, I know a lot of cosplayers who are constantly doing the next new popular character or TV show, and don't get me wrong, that's super great for the algorithm. In general, you should really cosplay characters that you're actually passionate about. It's one of the reasons why I get so upset whenever people give me cosplay suggestions, because a lot of the times it's always characters from fandoms or whatever that's super trendy and I'm just not interested in. Because sure, I could dress up as this character and I know my audience would love it, but I would not enjoy dressing up as that character. So choose characters that you're actually passionate about in that moment, and you'll have more motivation to complete it and you'll feel better just wearing it in general. Number 3, set realistic deadlines. I've talked about this before, but you guys cannot keep con crunching. Con crunching is super stressful, so if you can avoid it, then stop. On average, I find that I'm able to complete a new cosplay within a span of a month, depending on how complex the piece is. And that's usually a deadline that I like to set for myself. So if there's a specific cosplay that I want done before a specific event, I try to plan everything out at least a month in advance. Number 4, separate creating from posting. So we all know that posting every day, at least once a day, will help consistently boost your content overall. You don't need to constantly create something new. I personally batch create a lot of my content because, well, I'm neurodivergent, so I tend to hyperfixate on things and it's just easier for me to do. But I know that not everyone is able to do that. So just because it's something that works for me or maybe works for other people doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you. And what I'm really trying to get at by saying all of this is you can absolutely repost older content. If you did a photo shoot like a couple years ago, but you still are really proud of the way you looked in those photos, then just repost it. I guarantee you, your followers are not gonna be upset if you repost older content. In fact, this is a really great way to share some of your older work with a new audience, since a lot of the times social media will push your work out to the For You page before actually showing it to the people who are following you. So yeah, repost your content if you're on a break or if you're just not motivated to create anything new. 5, celebrate progress instead of perfection. Guys, this is something that I'm still learning to do. I am definitely a perfectionist when it comes to my cosplays. Again, I blame my autism for this, but you should be proud of the work that you create. Even if it's not perfect, even if it quote unquote doesn't look as good as someone else's cosplay, you should still be proud of that because you put yourself out there. You worked hard, and that's not something that everyone is able to do. I always like to keep in mind that just because I'm finished working on a cosplay for now doesn't mean that I'm not gonna go back and fix it in the future. In fact, a lot of my most popular cosplays, such as my Batgirl cosplay or my Poison Ivy cosplay, are characters that I have slowly improved on as time went on. They did not look like this the first time I cosplayed those characters. They looked very different. But because I'm so proud of the way I looked the first time, even when they were made on a very strict budget, I continued to upgrade as time went on, and now I'm very well noted in the community for these characters. Number 6, say no when you need to. This isn't really going to apply to everyone out there. This is more so going to apply to those cosplay creators out there who do commissions. So like photo commissions, video set commissions, or like Etsy costume commissions. You need to say no. There's this common misconception that just because someone subscribes to your Ko-fi or your OnlyFans or your Patreon, that therefore they have a right to dictate all of the things that you do, and that therefore because they're paying you, you have to do everything that they request. And this is just not true. You're gonna find yourself being taken advantage of more often than not if you just say yes to everything. There are lots of times that I will be commissioned to do a photo set, and the person commissioning me will say things that I'm either A, not comfortable with, or B, I just can't do because I don't have the skill set for. And I'll tell them no. Now, yes, sometimes this leaves your customer kind of upset and bitter. The fact of the matter is your comfort and your safety should always be a priority. And if someone is really a fan of you, they'll understand. So please don't feel like you have to collaborate with someone every time you get a cosplayer who duets you on TikTok. Hell, I hardly ever duet other creators on TikTok just because I don't have the motivation to create that kind of content. Number 7, remember where you started. As cosplay gets more and more popular, I know that there's a lot more people out there who are getting into cosplay for the purpose of making money. And as someone who does cosplay for a full-time job, I don't see anything wrong with turning cosplay into a career, but that should not be the only reason why you get into cosplay in the first place. Cosplaying is about being creative. It's about being passionate about the series or the characters that you're bringing to life, and it's also about being a part of a community, being around people who also enjoy the same niches that you do. I oftentimes think about how my younger self would look at me now as an adult, and I can say that little Star would definitely be very proud of the person that I ended up becoming today. So yeah, I might not always have the biggest budget for my cosplays. I might not always look as good as maybe someone else does as a specific character. Remembering where you started and why you started will help you in the long run of things. Going into a little bit of my own personal experience and really why I'm making this video video today. I actually experienced a bit of a burnout not too long ago. It happened about several weeks ago. A lot of you guys know that whenever I create my cosplay content, I do it based off a popular poll vote that my Patreon subscribers will make. And in this particular poll, one of my cosplays that I really didn't feel very good about was on it. It ended up winning that poll. Now, I really only have myself to blame because I knew that I wasn't gonna feel super comfortable doing this character because in general, I just wasn't happy with this cosplay anymore. But I put it up there anyways, just for shits and giggles. So I got into this cosplay and I ended up having a little bit of a breakdown because I just felt so ugly. I felt so unsatisfied with the way my cosplay looked. Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is a great way to grow, but sometimes you have to take a step back and understand when you need to let things go. I very frequently will actually sell my older cosplays and will move on to different fandoms. Yes, it does oftentimes change up the audience that I end up appealing to, but it's what keeps me passionate and keeps me grounded as a cosplayer. I've been doing cosplay for 16 years. I've only been doing it professionally for about a year now, and I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to do this as a full-time career, but I can't do it if I'm constantly forcing myself to do things that I'm just not comfortable or happy doing, and honestly, neither should you. If you've been feeling burned out lately, it doesn't mean that you're done with cosplay. More often than not, it just means that you need to recharge. Some of the best creators take breaks, and there's nothing wrong with that. Stepping back so you can come back excited and create again is quite possibly the best thing that you can really do for yourself and for your audience. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see my YouTube videos an entire week in advance, as well as some exclusive and behind the scenes content, and to keep up with whatever new cosplay projects I'm working on, then I think that my Patreon would be a great place for you. You can find it linked down in the description below. Let me know a time that you guys have experienced burnout in the cosplay community, and maybe some tips that helped you get out of the rut as well. Don't forget to subscribe for next week's video, and like this video so that it reaches a broader audience. Without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and head out of here. See you guys.